And we're live. Hello, everybody. I am Edie Skye / HP Holo, and he is Jacob Holo. And together we are HP and Jacob Holo. And we write books and we talk about our books. What are you giggling over there for? I'm not lying.
No, you're not lying at all. In fact, that was very accurate. It just seems slightly obvious that
Anyway,
it's sort of like you're A, I am B, and together we are A plus B.
This is true. Anyway, tonight though, we are some weird combination thereof, which is Edie Skye, because we are both writing under the same pen name now, and we are here tonight to talk about our latest release, Blood Knight, Scepter of Bone, which is exactly the pun you think it is. So,
actually, it's not a pun.
Well, I thought it was a pun. I thought it was like an intentional play on words.
No. I mean, there's an actual scepter
there's
of
a literal
bone.
scepter
It's
of
an
bone
artifact.
in it, but that was when you said scepter of bone. That was not what I thought. Anyway, it's that kind of book, you guys. So,
well, it is that kind of book. I mean, let's be real here about that part.
So, Scepter of Bone, just for those who are coming in and have no idea what you've stumbled upon. Scepter of Bone is book 2 in our Blood Knight series, which is harem urban fantasy about monster girls who are also gamer girls, who are also vampire slayers, and they do stuff. And, well, of course they do stuff. They do spicy stuff. And this is, what? Add things, Jacob. You look like you have words to say.
Well, I mean, we have the titular Blood Knight, Clark, yes. our main character, who is at the center of a harem of monster girls, including a werewolf, a succubus, a slime girl, and an angel. And there's at least one addition that. I don't really consider the addition of Ixia to be a spoiler because she's cover girl for book 2.
That's
like
the cover is a spoiler.
Okay, it's like, oh yes, it's this great mystery that Ixia is going to end up a part of the harem because she's on the cover.
All right. Well, before we start talking about the book, I do want to say some things. And as usual, everything I'm about to say is in the show notes. I do actually have show notes on Twitter now. So if you're watching on Twitter, go to whatever page you're watching on, and you'll see the notes in a separate post. But anyway, we are going to be giving away a signed copy of Scepter of Bone. So if you want to try for that, there is a Google Doc that you can enter, and I will put I'll put the link in the comments as well, so you don't have to search it down. Also, it is out for sale and on Kindle Unlimited, and there is an audiobook in the works, but I have no idea what the release date is because the company just released Monster Girl Tamer, which was my most recent one, and so they are just now beginning work on that one because my schedule is nuts this year and everything is late. So that's where we are there. But if you want to try to win a signed copy, get in the comments. While I am adding that link to the comments, though, Jacob, give us a recap of book 1 and then tell us what book 2 is about.
All right, so brief recap of book 1. Our main character, Clark, discovers that he is that the world is secretly ruled by vampires, that they essentially control the masses through manipulative magics. And he is a blood knight. He is descended from the greatest line of vampire slayers the world has ever seen. And a small ambitious group of monster girls have recruited him into their organization that eventually becomes named Broken Fang after some missteps. A false starts when it comes to naming the organization, and they decide to try to make the world a better place by slaying some vampires. And
tiny ambition.
And so the vampires in this setting, they prey on human beings. In fact, the main characters come across essentially meat lockers full of victims. So these are not
just victims, but also other people's pets. Like, you got to play up the nefariousness here. There's one.
They you know,
eat pets.
Some of the vampires will feed on pet animals. Some of them will feed on human beings. These are not nice individuals, and they deserve what's coming to them. And Clark and the Ladies of Broken Fang deliver on multiple counts in the first book. They rack up a fair number of bodies of bloodsuckers. It's a close thing, particularly at the end. In this setting, there are essentially two kind of overarching categories of vampires. There are the risen that are not born a vampire, and then there are the purebloods, which are born as vampires. And the purebloods tend to be much stronger than the risen, though there is some gray areas in between those two distinctions. And one of the vampires they have to go up against in book one is a pureblood, and he is extremely powerful. And they naturally are able to eke out a victory.
I'm thinking about, I gotta giggle because I'm thinking about the voice acting on that vampire, and in particular some of the bloopers we got. Royal Guard Publishing sent us some spectacular bloopers from the recording session. And
I kind of wish that, like, as an extra at the end of the audiobook, they could include like outtakes. Yeah.
They're magnificent. Right. We have them on the Edie Skye Patreon for those who want to hear them. But it's I simultaneously I love our narrators and feel sorry for them because we write funny books, and it's very entertaining to record funny books, but it's also very difficult because you have to contain your laughter, and sometimes it's a struggle for the narrators. Oh, but they do such a good job. It's Daryl Mayfield and Jess Trepanier. One day I will remember how to pronounce her name correctly, but they're great either way. Are you done talking?
No. I guess I was waiting too long. So would you like me to continue talking about?
Asks, so are these vampires of the Buffy variety? I have never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I have also never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so if you could give us some context of what kind of vampires are in that series.
Literally, okay, so when Buffy first aired, I was really young, and my mom, it was a thing that my mom banned from our house. And it's one of those things where when I entered my like free adult age, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go enjoy all the things that were banned when I was a kid. And then I saw that it was 1 million seasons and just lost all interest.
And I was just watching strictly science fiction at the time.
Yeah,
so I think that's how that one missed. I missed that one.
My sister was a huge Buffy fan because she was the mischievous one and would sneak over to friends' houses to watch it. So I heard a lot of the one musical episode soundtrack. But that's literally
do you know? Well, did you pick up from her what kind of vampires they are?
No, I didn't care.
All right. Well, okay. So, do you want me to talk a little bit about the book we're here to talk about, or?
Yes, we should probably do that since we're 10 minutes.
Okay,
go for it. Tell us about book 2.
Book 2, Blood Knight, Scepter of Bone. Not a pun at all.
It is a pun. It is to me. It is in my heart.
And I just like to take a moment to draw attention to the fact that I have color coordinated to complement the color palette.
You're so much more stylish than me. I put no effort into my colors whatsoever. Like, I'm here in a t-shirt that it's just my sample t-shirt that's not even up on the shop yet. It's just like, well, that was there. I'll put that on. Let's see. Froeby says more like the vampires from Lost Boys. Guess what, Froeby?
Guess what? I don't know Lost Boys either.
So that actually brings up a question we could answer later in the show once we're done talking about the book. What vampire stuff have we actually watched? And now that we have established that we haven't seen a lot of the classics.
Okay,
Okay, talk about the book, Jacob. We'll get to that.
So Scepter of Bone. So to kind of contrast the two books, Blood Knight, Vampire Slayer is sort of like the group coming together and achieving their first victory as a team. Scepter of Bone is more about this team kind of coalescing, working out the kinks, becoming stronger, becoming more, becoming more, more competent, more confident, kind of reaching higher as they become a better team of vampire slayers, monster slayers. And also, so one of the things that they realize is that they're just a bunch of college students, and they're taking on the vampires that secretly rule the world. This is a heavy lift, and they realize that they need help. So one of the things that they're setting out to do in book 2 is basically form alliances with other groups within the kind of occult community, groups of demi-humans or mages. And in order to do that, they have to kind of build a reputation. So one of the first things is like, okay, we need work. We need to find work. And the way that they go about that is that they form a very tentative alliance with a coven of witches, the coven of the Ashen Flowers, of which Ixia Gray is a member of that coven. And Ixia is essentially set up as their handler to kind of review the work coming to the coven and to feed them jobs that are appropriate to their skill level and their basically ability to rip and tear quite effectively sometimes. So what you get in book 2 is a kind of a larger view of the world itself and some of the quirky corners of it. So there's a construction company of shifters, primarily werebears, that have a bit of a monster problem that needs solving. And well, there's this group of essentially exterminators looking to prove their worth and earn a buck, or several, as is the case. There is a necromancer who runs a construction company and uses zombies as his labor.
I love the zombie construction workers. They're my favorites.
Oh, there's a scene where a bunch of his zombies are they're working on a bridge, and they're not really doing a great job of it. And Clark and Ixie are just sort of hanging back, watching this parade of disasters. And Clark is just like, I'm never driving over a bridge in this county again.
Now that he knows what goes into it. Well, technically they passed inspection. So
yeah, that doesn't really impress him all that much, that it passes government inspections.
A little more calcium in there. It's more structurally sound.
So part of it is, the group trying to strengthen their ties and build their reputation, but also there's the mystery of why a very powerful pureblood vampire was in this area to begin with, and what he was searching for. And there is a very powerful monster that the group encounters, that a vampire has essentially conjured that gives them a pretty good run for their money. So there's a kind of an underlying mystery to the city of Chester Creek, which is where most of these books take place, as to why powerful individuals are being drawn to this area, why they're being so secretive about what they're doing in this area. And yeah, the part of that mystery continues to unfold in book 2.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a comment from JR. Hey JR, by the way, he says, of the construction company, now we know why their bids are so cheap.
Oh yeah. I mean, the necromancer in question says that, oh yeah, they don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't need insurance, they don't need to be paid. And if one of them gets run over by the compactor, he just goes to the cemetery and gets another body.
The cemetery, by the way, is right next to the construction company, so it's a very well set up operation.
Yeah, he's that necromancer is all about location.
Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing. All right. Oh, so also of the Buffy vampires, Gamora says, so essentially those vampires are people whose souls are replaced by a demon and are thus 100% evil and irredeemable unless they can regain their soul. So I would say the Blood Knight vampires are not quite there, because I mean I think the way
there's nothing that's like a person's soul being replaced by a demon. The like the risen vampires are very much who they were originally. They have simply been enhanced via magical means by a vampire. Obviously, once they've become a vampire, another vampire. They are people, but they're also people who feed on other people. Yeah. And the vampire community and culture at large is one of subjugation and control. And it is they also have enforcers, deviant hunters, which
the D hunters, yeah.
Yes, the D hunters, which is a pun.
That one was a pun.
Yeah, that one was a very deliberate pun. Essentially, anyone who gets a little too uppity, a D hunter shows up and removes the problem. Mm-hmm. Generally, by killing the other individual.
You don't get any D hunters in book 2, but I have to keep paying attention to which book we're actually talking about, because I just finished editing book 3, and so I have book 3's information just boggling around in my head right now. But you at the beginning of book 3, and book 2 definitely raises the stakes compared to book 1. But when book 3 starts, it's like, oh, this is definitely a new ball game. Like, they're not in
I mean, so if you look at like the design and the trajectory of the series, we start very small. We've got a bunch of college students who they haven't killed any vampires yet at the beginning of book 1.
But one of them didn't even know vampires existed until like 3 chapters into book 1. So
and they achieve their first victories in book 1. Book 5. In the 5-book plan that we have, is basically the final confrontation against the vampires who rule the world. There are a lot of steps between here and there, and so there has to be a progression. And things escalate, and it's. I wouldn't say it's a line. I'd say it's more of an exponential curve in terms of where books 4 and 5 end up. But yeah, they eventually get there. We haven't gotten there as authors yet. We have a plan to get them there.
You should have got the other 2 books to write. We've had adventures this year, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Do we want to talk about why it's important to stay hydrated?
No,
Jacob?
no. Let's just focus on the books and not go into the fact that I got so sick that I fainted from dehydration and ended up in the ER. Let's just move past that and continue talking about the product.
We had a vacation and it was wild. So drink your water, guys.
Yes. Stay hydrated.
Drink that cup right now. Okay, you're good. All right. JR asks, did you get the same narration team for all of the books? Yes. Royal Guard Publishing is the company. Stay hydrated. You mean more coffee? That's my idea of hydration, and it has worked out for me thus far. But I've been drinking more water too because I don't want to end up in the ER.
Anyway, be careful with caffeine though, because it can have the opposite effect.
Yeah, it can. But anyway, did you get the same narration team? Royal Guard Publishing is the company behind the audiobooks, and we have always gotten Daryl and Jess, and I plan on sticking with them forever because they nail it. They totally get the tone of the books, and they very obviously have fun while they're recording them. And occasionally they switch up who's the lead. Like I believe Jess is the lead on Blood Knight when Daryl was the lead on Titan Mage.
Yeah.
And I'm actually so far behind. I haven't listened to Monster Girl Tamer yet, which I need to because I'm looking forward to hearing all the voices in that one. But yeah, they do a magnificent job. So I will work with them forever. But let's see. Oh, Anthony. Oh, hey, it's Anthony. It's been a while since we've seen you here. It says coffee is just flavored bean water. It is, but it's delicious bean water, and I love it. I mean, honestly, it kind of tastes like dirt, but I like the way caffeine makes my brain feel. And so, plus I like my little coffee shop too.
All right. So I completed the assignment that you gave me at the beginning of the stream to recap book 1 and then to talk about book 2 a little bit. So where are we going from here?
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Ixia. So on the front cover of all the Blood Knight books, you have your cover girl, and book 1 was very much Emma's book. Emma
being the succubus.
Yeah, Emma being the succubus. And to a certain extent it was Sammy's book too, a little bit too, because Sammy's story you're not expecting the slime girl to have that kind of story, and then it just punches you in the chest in the best and saddest of ways.
Yeah, yes. And I mean, I would say that, yes, it is the book 1, there is a bit of an ensemble cast going on there, but Emma is very much on the female side of things, the glue that kind of holds the harem together and very much encourages its formation. Mm-hmm. And so in that way,
she's the glue that brings everyone together. And then in book 2, Ixia is the one who keeps everyone together and oriented. I think you could say, because she's the one.
She's the one who's giving them finding work for them.
Yeah.
And she also is with child. Mm-hmm. from the deal that our Blood Knight Clark made with the coven in book 1. So there's a little bit of complication there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Ixia is a witch. She is very much a gamer girl. She is an aspiring esports player, so she takes gaming very seriously. She's not the biggest fan of having to go up against elves in esports because of their superior reflexes. It's like a lot of elves in esports.
Now that does raise a question. So in the lore, I don't think I've ever actually asked this before. What is the worst type of demi-human to go up against in esports? Is it elves, or is there something worse, or something?
So I think it would be elves. Mm-hmm. Just because of the reflexes, the high dexterity stats. But yeah, I think it would be elves.
Yeah, when you consider how fast you have to play certain games, it's like when I watch some of the tournaments you watch, it just blows my mind. I don't know what's going on. in StarCraft and like professional level League of Legends. But then again, I'm not a very strategic gamer anyway. I just like to lay back and hit buttons and hope.
Well, I mean, you look at like how many actions per minute these players are executing, and like I think some of them can like hang around 300 actions per minute, like on average, but they can spike between like 500 and 800 actions per minute. It's like how are you doing this?
I'm even amazed at the people who, like, when I play League of Legends, I'm even amazed at the people who find time to type while they're playing, because I can't do it. Like, it takes all of my mental effort to just keep my little champion running around the lanes and not dying. I'm not a good League of Legends.
So Ixia will brew potions to as essentially a performance enhancers.
Yeah.
To help her with her reflexes. Oh, one of the corners of the setting I forgot to mention was the Dryad farm.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Should we leave that a surprise for them to find?
I think we should leave Billy Quigley.
Billy Quigley is my favorite. I mean, her name is fun to begin with, but we need more Billy in the series.
I guess the what we were going for with Billy Quigley was like Daisy Duke,
but a dryad.
Not a dryad.
A very irritable dryad. I love her so much. She's only in one scene, but she steals the entire thing. You have to put more of her in there. She's fantastic. Got to find another excuse to put her in there. But I totally forgot what question we were on.
We were talking about Ixia, and then
Ixia. Go for it.
Well,
elves. She brews potions, and I have to say, I'm really surprised at how significant not just Ixia, but the entire coven became in the story. And for those who are not familiar with how we've written this series, I am sort of the face of the Edie Skye pen name and do most of the writing, but Jacob took the lead on the Blood Knight series. So the vast majority of it is his writing. I helped with planning, but it's primarily a Jacob series because he had some time between traditional contracts and was like, well, I don't want to waste 6 months. I may as well write another series. And then Blood Knight happened, and that's why we are like a year behind getting the next Titan Mage out. So, well, I also have to write it, but yeah, so we just slotted Blood Knight in since it was mostly done. And so this is very much a Jacob series, very different from the stuff he has written with David Weber.
Yeah, I have a Honorverse novella that I have to write next.
Yes.
And so once I'm finished with that, I'm going to swing over to Blood Knight 4.
Man, what a transition that's going to be. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm writing about this midshipman on his MIDI cruise with his empathic tree cat, and going to have some exploding spaceships, and then Blood Knight 4 is the next project. So a little bit of a shift there.
Yes. Okay. So Ixia and her family. I really like the Gray family. Like, I think that like Ixia herself is cool, but I think they make a really cool unit as well, because even though her mother and her sisters.
So you have Hepatica, who is the mother, the head of the coven, at least this branch of the Ashen Flowers, and then you have Ixia, Dahlia, and Hyacinth, the triplets. So they're all the same age. They are all of legal age.
And all goth witches. And are these Gamer Girls, or is that just Ixia?
Honestly, haven't really dipped into Dahlia and Hyacinth's personalities quite enough. Right now, the only one that is an established gamer is Ixia.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother does not understand. There have been, I think, 2 scenes so far in the series where Hepatica will call Ixia, and Ixia's like, "What?" It's like I'm, and she's like, in the middle of a gaming match, and it's like, I've got, zerglings in my natural, eating my siege tanks, something like that. And Hepatica just has no idea
Yes.
what her daughter is talking about.
I remember those days when I was living at home, because moms generally do not understand that you cannot pause most games, and you couldn't pause most games even back then. And I will say, one of the best parts of this marriage is being married to someone who understands that sometimes you got to be stuck in front of the screen for 20 minutes and you can't stop playing because there's a timer, or you're playing with other people. It's like, it's an important part of the relationship. It keeps the relationship functioning.
I understand this aspect
Yes.
of our relationship very well.
All right, let's see. I had the chat's moving. Let's see here. I felt like I missed a comment somewhere, but I can get on those while you're talking some more. So let's see here. I want to talk about some of the places in the setting, because I feel like it's almost an unwritten rule that you can't have an urban fantasy novel without a cool club, and you kind of have two in this one, because you had what is it, Deadly Nightshade, that you introduced in the first one.
Studio Nightshade,
yeah. And it shows up in this one too, but then you have the Establishment, and I love the Establishment. And so I want to hear, how did you come up, like what was the design process for both of those? Like, how did you decide?
All right, so Studio Nightshade is, I guess, kind of a maybe stereotypical urban fantasy club. It's a big mixer. You've got all different kinds of demi-humans. You have the mages who, in terms of the kind of occult community, the mages are upper class citizens, essentially, because their magic protects them from the hexes that vampires distribute to control the masses. Demi-humans in general are hexed, but not as effectively as humans are. So their powers, most demi-humans, their powers are suppressed to a certain degree, not fully. Whereas regular humans are essentially oblivious to the occult shenanigans that are going on around them because of the magic that's affecting them. So Studio Nightshade's a big mixer full of different demi-humans. You've got a succubus at the bar. You've got like dragonkin dancing with elves, dancing with orcs. You've got various shifters that are either in like their hybrid forms or just like fully like wolfed out, or whatever animal that they are. Various it's like every time that Studio Nightshade shows up, there's a different band, and I'm trying to remember which band is in book like two.
The Raging Hairballs or something, or
that was book one. That was book one. The Angry Hairballs was book one. So you had a bunch of shifters, and I think there was like an orc at the drums or something like that. And I think there's I think in book two there's a high elf and a dark elf.
Is it Dawn and Dusk?
Yeah, Dawn and Dusk.
Yeah, I
think is the band. So that's the kind of feel for Studio Nightshade. The Establishment, however, caters specifically to the shifter crowd. And in the Chester Creek, the most common shifters are werewolves and werebears. There are a few others, but they're very much minorities within, well, an already minority community. So as a kind of reward and / apology for completing their first assignment very effectively, basically helping out a prominent werebear in the community, he invites Brooke and Clark, Brooke being the werewolf member of the harem, to the Establishment for dinner. His treat. And well, Clark finds out that it's very It's it very much caters to the shifter crowd. So there he's like looking at the menu, and one of the things that it's like it escapes me what we called it, but it's essentially the house special.
The classic, I think, was what it was called.
The classic experience.
The classic experience sounds right.
So it's like, oh, it's got like, on the menu, it's got like a fancy border around it. The text is bold. It's like, it's, clearly it's something special on the menu. It's meant to draw your attention. And he's like, oh, what about this? And, the two werebears that they're with is, oh, yes. We got to do that. We got to do that. And so they order the classic experience. And what they bring out is basically just a dead elk.
It's just a big old elk.
And just plop it on the table. And so, like, Brooke goes full werewolf. The two werebears, they go full werebear. And they just start like...
It's not just that they go full werebear. Like, there's one who is this, when she's in her human form, she's this really nice, prim, proper lady. And then she bears out. And then before she goes into the elk, she like fixes her makeup and makes sure she makes sure she's all proper in this bear form. And then she tears into the elk. And it's like she's got to look polite while she does it.
And it's like, these like 3 buzzsaws, just pieces of flesh flying everywhere. And Clark is like, if he tries to go in, he's going to lose a finger or something. Yes. It's like, what is going on?
I feel safe in this situation.
and so he ends up going to the bar and ordering himself a Reuben sandwich. So yeah, it's they're 2 very different settings, but like we've been saying, one of the fun aspects of the second book is that you do get to you as a reader get to experience more aspects of the world and how it can be quirky and fun.
Oh yeah,
and also dangerous in some corners too.
I think that's easily my favorite part of the book because you know me, I love world building and I love seeing all these little weird corners, and you get all these charming and dangerous weird corners of the demi-human world in particular. And then whenever you go into book 3, you get a deeper look into the vampire world, or at least the beginnings of it. And it's just each book grows in complexity. And I really like encountering that whenever I do my initial edits. So going back through the comments here, back when we were speaking about Sammy, Froeby says, I was so not ready for that kind of feels that early. Yeah, Sammy's story will get you like right here.
Wait until you get to her arc in book 3.
Oh yeah, book 3.
There will be more feels. There's a reason why Sammy is cover girl of book 3.
Mm-hmm.
There are aspects of her arc that are teased in books 1 and 2, and they come to fruition in book 3. So you have that to look forward to.
She's got such a cool cover too. I mean, you can't really mess with a hot girl and a motorcycle. Like that's classic. It's classic hot girl. Yeah. But all right, so Richie says, "Oh snap! It's one of my favorite combos." Hello, Richie. We love you too. And he also adds that we've been killing it with Blood Knight, and he's really excited to start book 2. Which actually reminds me, I am still waiting on my stock to come in. But for those who are on the Patreon at the Titan Mage level, those signed books will be going out as soon as I get my stock in. I'm just waiting on Amazon again. But let's see here. I think, let's see. Froeby says, can we get the classic experience? You're going to have to go find your own elk for that, man.
This is not a service we here at Holo Writing provide.
No. Now, I have complete confidence that we could let Dazzle out into the woods and he would come back with an elk. But he's just Dazzle is chaos, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, we thought he was going to calm down as he aged, and we've only made him more powerful. Like, I'm really surprised that we have not heard him here tonight. And frankly, I'm kind of terrified because that means I don't know what he's getting up to. And Dazzle is unstoppable. But we got a question here. J.R. Handley asks, what's your favorite part of this universe?
Why don't you go first?
Why are you? That's not fair. Okay, my favorite part of this universe. I really think the magic system is cool. And it's not just the D&D spells aspect of it. It's the way that the two different types of magic reflect each other, because you have the vampires who basically they gain their power by exploiting people, by taking things involuntarily from people. And Clark's magic in particular, as a blood knight, I really like the way you balanced it by basically having Clark is his power is blood based, but it's power that is borrowed or willfully given from others, and
there is a
and
a willingness to share, and the vampire magic is very much taking subjugation, power over others, whereas the bonds that Clark forms with his lovers is very much a giving, consensual, sharing, loving bond. Even if the giving is subconscious, there is willingness there, willingness to for his partners to help him power up, essentially.
I don't think you structured it this way in terms of the way the magic system literally works, but it's like the romance ties into the magic in thematically, and I really like that element of it. Your turn now.
So, I mean, just I guess one of the aspects that I have really enjoyed is, the fact that we have, it's, harem, but the urban fantasy element, the fact that I'm able to design the waifus as gamer girls.
Yes.
And just trying to, obviously, all of them are very unique. They have their own personalities, their own quirks, strengths, and weaknesses. But to make each of them very appealing, as to the reader, as if this was a real person, the reader was like, hey, it would be cool to be able to hang out with these ladies.
I would hang out with them.
That's kind of fun aspect of the relationship, that they're not only lovers, but they are also friends. And they you have for example the scene where in Blood Knight 2, where they are, yes, Roby, don't beat me to the punch. where
says Titan Mage TTRPG is a future requirement.
Where Clark and the ladies of Broken Fang are playing Titan Mage, the role-playing game.
Oh, that was a fun find, but such a tease. And because we get asked for a Titan Mage game so much, and the thing is, like, I've looked into the possibility of developing one. Like, I know people who have designed their own games and who can give me direction on how to design games. But then when I look at the time I have available to me and the skills that I have, I've determined that my time is best spent writing. And like I would love to design a Titan Mage game, but one thing I learned over the course of writing Monster Girl Tamer is I'm really horrible with stats, and you kind of have to be managing numbers to manage a game and then to maintain it. And so what's going to happen with Titan Mage, honestly, is that if there's a company that is like a gaming company that is willing to license it and develop it, I'll be like, hell yeah, we'll sign it over. But in terms of coming from me, it's just one of the things where it would take so long and take so much time away from the things that I actually have a talent for, that it's just kind of a thing that I would like to happen, but that is unlikely to happen unless a company that specializes in that is interested. Now that is to say, I do have some fans who have been occasionally they'll send me little updates about how they've been updating. They've been basically taking what they read in Titan Mage and adapting it to the various game systems they play in. And so I imagine those are floating around, and but there's nothing official from me, just because I am so inept with stats. Like, if I did not have Jacob to correct my stats,
okay, so
it would be a disaster.
So Monster Girl Tamer, one of the characters, I set up the stats. I gave this character a magic score of 6. Now the main character, I think he had a magic score of like 10 or 11 to start out with. He gets powered up, and so the idea is that that the magic from this character would supplement her combat abilities, but her combat abilities would be more physically based in terms of like the stuff that she can control and manipulate in the environment, amongst other things. So then I get the scene, and long story short, we ended up changing. I think her magic stat went up to 21.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, we could modify the scene here, or it would have been like a complete rewrite.
It would have been a complete rewrite.
Or we could just change the stat.
You can tell the exact moment in Monster Girl Tamer where I wanted to go back to writing Titan Mage, because the Goblin Girl got a giant robot.
And I also had like underlying equations for how how much power the main character got from defeating the various monster girls and developing bonds with them. And I had to change that equation because of just how high their stats became.
Yep.
All right.
It's gonna be insane though.
Yeah. You completely broke the escalation curve that I had planned for that trilogy. So
adjust it before I go on.
Just completely broke it.
Oh yes, but it's gonna be fun though. And I got 2 monster girls. There's a Goblin Girl and an Oni Girl with a giant robot now, man. I mean, that has potential for lots and lots of fun.
All right. So what else should we talk about with
let's see
book
here.
2? Or are we done talking about book 2?
I think we've covered a lot of the stuff in book 2. And of course, if anyone has any questions about book 2, feel free to put them in the comments and we'll get to them. One question I did write down though is, since the two of us had not seen any of the famous vampire classics mentioned. Oh, we got a question from J.R. Handley. What's an Oni Girl? Onis are characters from Japanese mythology. They're kind of restraint is not a word in Edie Skye's vocabulary. This is true. Truest comment ever written.
It is so true. Oh, I think
you sometimes see them described as demons, but I don't think that's quite an accurate translation.
You see the one series, the one anime where I think there are quite a few of them is that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I think there are quite a few Oni characters.
And you usually find them like red-skinned with a single horn, but basically that's what
red or blue skin. I think are the two classics.
But yeah, I am writing in the context of anime Oni Girl as opposed to mythologically accurate Oni Girl. So basically, she's hot and she has a single horn, and yeah, and there we go, anime Oni Girl.
Was that supposed to be a?
This is a horn. Does
it articulate?
No, but I mean, I can make it articulate. I mean, she appeared in the last third of the book, so there's
don't make it articulate. don't change the lore.
Favorite? Okay, I will keep it. I'll keep it straight. Okay, there we go. Favorite vampire lore that we've actually watched, considering how many classics we've missed out on. We are adding The Lost Boys to our to watch list for OEB, because I've honestly been wanting to watch that for like 10 years and just keep finding other stuff to watch. So I'm writing it down on my list, The Lost Boys. Okay, favorite vampire stuff that you've seen, Jacob? I mean, I can go first, if you want to think. I'm a huge fan of What We Do in the Shadows. I really love, like, I am of two minds with vampires. I like my vampires either completely vicious and awful and ripping things apart, like in Monster Hunter International. Like, I just love completely evil vampires. But I also love vampires that are just complete dumbasses. And What We Do in the Shadows just is perfect. And I'm talking both the TV series and the movie. Like, they are my feel-good things. I love them so much.
There's a little bit of What We Do in the Shadows influence. Not so much in book 2 onward, but book 1.
I feel like there's definitely, like, with the exchange between Plainsboro and Rost, I believe.
Yeah.
At the end of book 1, like that tiff is just, I got What We Do in the Shadows vibes from it. Froeby says no sparkles.
Well, and they're the most of the vampires that they're facing in book 1, this is the lowest tier of vampire.
Tutorial level vampires.
In fact, you have a character in book 3, a vampire character that refers to those other vampires as trash. It's like he doesn't even care that they were killed. They're just nothing to him. So the okay, so getting back to what I've watched or read or consumed, the anime Hellsing.
Oh yeah, that one's a great one. I love it.
Now there's also Vampire Hunter D, but
and then there's Hellsing Abridged, right? I consider
yes,
that
there is Hellsing Abridged.
Hellsing Abridged is a piece of art all on its own. Like it is magnificent.
But yeah, I think Hellsing is my favorite in terms of stuff that I've watched or read with vampires in it.
I have to admit that I condescended to it a lot when it first came out, but in my adulthood, I've kind of become a Twilight fan. And it's not because of the text itself. Like, I don't view Twilight as vampire lore. The vampires in Twilight kind of have more fae characteristics to me. Like, it's just that they're not vampires to me. But I love the fandom that has come up around Twilight because, first off, it's unhinged in the best and most hilarious way. But also, I like Rob Pattinson, not because of his performance as Edward, but because he hates Twilight so much because of how exasperated he got filming it. There's a Tumblr, I don't even know if it still exists, but it's called R. Pats Hates His Life. And it's basically just a collection of interviews where he is just being chaotic, trying to mess around in interviews for his own movie. Like it is a thing of art. It is internet greatness. And I love all the chaos that comes about because of that franchise. But also I really love bad movies. And oh my gosh, the final Twilight movie is an excellent piece of movie badness. Like, it's one of my favorite things. But you are looking so exasperated right now, Jacob. Would you like to talk about mean vampires that tear things apart now?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I was really a big fan of, was I Am Legend vampires or zombies? I can't even remember. It's been like 20 years since I watched the movie. I remember liking it regardless. And then there's also John Steakley's Vampires, which I really enjoyed because it was another of those, the vampires are mean and we gotta go kill them. Kind of
yeah, I'd say in terms of literature that I've read, I haven't read very much stuff with vampires in it, but I would say that John Steakley's Vampires with a $sign at the end of vampires is the one that I enjoyed the most and the one that kind of stuck in my head the most after I read it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Froeby says Interview with the Vampire. Guess what? I haven't seen that one either. Like, if it's a vampire classic, I probably haven't seen it. Like,
we are disappointing the entire chat
we
here.
We really are. Send us vampire movie recommendations, you guys, and we will report back. when we watch them. There's a with a vampire TV series now too that I've been meaning to watch, but I'm behind on all my TV ever. Van Helsing 2004. Now, oh my gosh, yes, I have seen
Okay,
that one.
all right. That I will classify that as a guilty pleasure.
One of the
of mine. It's,
I'm not guilty about it. I love that.
well, I know you know. Yeah, you have no guilty pleasures. For you, it's just pleasure.
Things that should be guilty pleasures, but here's the thing. If I enjoy something, I enjoy it genuinely, and I am not ashamed at any of the things I enjoy. And it's not that I enjoy nasty things. Well, I mean, frankly, I do. But I'm not embarrassed that I enjoy them. JR says, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer a classic movie yet? I think so. It's old enough. But I haven't seen it either. Crappy B movies are the best. Yes, they are. I would be an entirely different person if there were not crappy B movies for me to watch. Like, my entire personality is built on a foundation of crappy movies. I love them. Vampire Academy! Oh my gosh! I can't believe I forgot that one.
No, don't go there. No.
Okay. I got to tell the Vampire Academy story, Jacob.
Okay, tell the Vampire Academy story. It is.
So,
I'm not
a fan of the books at all, but I went to see the movie. And the movie is one of those where it is just, it's terrible, but it feels like the filmmakers knew they were making a bad movie and so decided to just roll with it, kind of in the same way that the Flash Gordon movie is not terrible, but you can tell when the filmmakers made it that they were like, you know what, we're going to make this B-grade style movie, but have as much fun as we possibly can while making it. Vampire Academy has that same vibe. And I knew it was terrible going in, and I kept gushing to Jacob about it, like saying, Jacob, you got to see this. You got to see this movie. And eventually he got it for me for my birthday, I think. But it wasn't just the movie that he got me. Part of the gift was his reaction to the movie.
That I would sit there and watch it with her.
He would suffer through it and entertain me with his commentary. And I
did suffer. There was suffering.
Yes, we should watch that again.
No, we should not watch it again. It's a bad movie.
I should also say that this was very early in our marriage before he realized how much I love bad movies. And early in our marriage, you know, he would suffer and provide colorful commentary. But I think there came a point about 7 years ago where you were like, I love you, but I cannot do this anymore. And so now I have a bad movie quota. And if I have to spend my bad movie watches very strategically. And I'm trying to think.
I will sit there, you know, and join you to watch bad movies, but
there's a price.
Only so many.
Yes. I think I used our 10th anniversary as one of my bad movie tokens, and I think we watched Quest for Camelot. Quest for Camelot, you guys, Quest for Camelot is a defining movie in my life because it's the movie that got me into writing in the first place. Because when I was in 5th grade, I found a movie novelization like in my 5th grade teacher's bookshelf, and it was my favorite thing. And then I saw the movie and I suddenly wanted to write. It is, for a high budget movie that was made by a studio that was trying to compete with Disney with an A-list cast, it's amazing how bad this movie is.
It is terrible.
It's atrocious.
It's such a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, but it is a magnificent dumpster fire, and there are elements of it that are really good. Like the bad guy's animation is, he's got his eyebrows have characters of their own. Like, it's incredible. He's entertaining to watch by himself, and he's voiced by Gary Oldman. You got Carrie Elways playing the male lead. You've got all of these, like, you've got Pierce Brosnan voicing King Arthur, I think, and or Merlin. I don't know. There's an insane number of A-list actors and all Anthony Wheeler's like Blade.
We can move past.
Okay, Jake.
Quest for Camelot. My Quest for Camelot tolerance has already been exceeded.
Okay. Yeah, Jacob didn't even make it through the Nostalgia Critic video before I used our 10-year anniversary to force it. Like, it's a whole thing. But anyway, so yes, we only allow Jacob can only suffer so many bad movies. Let's see here. Gamora says, would you be interested in seeing Shadow of the Vampire? The premise is, what if they got an actual vampire to play Nosferatu in the classic film? Oh my gosh, Willem Dafoe plays the vampire? Yes. You got me with Willem Dafoe. Like, I would watch him play a blade of dying grass. Like, he's so fun.
What?
You could have this really, really angsty French movie just about something dying, and I'd be like, heck yes, Willem Dafoe. If he's doing it, I'll watch it. Bad Movie Champion, Star Wars Holiday Special, Froeby says. I have never actually seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, and I want to so bad. Like, I don't even know where to find it. Is it on YouTube? Like, I feel like it has been hidden, but one day I will find it. But yeah, so I completely forgot what we were talking about before we got on bad.
I don't know either, but
we were talking about vampire movies. There we go. I think
we're an hour in, so
yeah. So let's start wrapping up. So yeah, that is it for Blood Knight 2, but we also have more book news because we're busy and we're insane and we got tons of books coming out this year. So let me pull up my little sheet. So first off, tiny little news. If you like t-shirts, we've got t-shirts in our shop now, and the link to that is in the show notes, but I'm also going to put it in the comments here. The big news, though, is Jacob has another book coming out. And Jacob, while I figure out how to type things, you tell them about Freelancers of Neptune.
So, Freelancers of Neptune, it's sort of Firefly meets Ringworld. It is a scrappy crew on a rundown ship having adventures in our solar system, but it's far, far in the future, and the solar system is a very different place than it used to be. It has been reworked via large-scale macro engineering feats. There are various genetically engineered branches of humanity going around, such as cat people, such as
you got a cat girl on the cover.
Space pirate cat girl,
but the cat girl
member of the crew.
Yes.
Former spaceship thief, former space pirate cat girl.
Yeah, you got an entire civilization of cat people. You've got bird people. You've got basically humanity. Well, I guess I can save some of this stuff for the actual video about this. But it's such a cool universe, you guys. Like, if you were in the mood for just straight up fun, weird, scrappy crew space opera, it's my favorite thing that you've written. And I know I say that about everything that you've written because I'm your wife, but in terms of the tropes I really like I really enjoy deep, smart, hard sci-fi like the Gordian Division series, but where my true interests and my heart rests are the scrappy crew, just pure fun, weird, zany sci-fi. And Freelancers of Neptune hits a lot of notes because it's not zany. It has some weird elements, but you start out and it's scrappy crew, we're just trying to get some money and keep our ship afloat, and then they stumble into this upon information.
So let me just share a little bit more about the plot. So you have the main character, his name's Nathaniel Cade, Captain Nathaniel Cade, and he just wants another job, that nice, easy job to help get his finances in order and keep his ship running. Mm-hmm. What he gets is Vesiny, the ex-space pirate cat girl, who has a lead on what could be the greatest treasure trove of lost technology ever.
Yeah.
And
in a solar system that is already pretty expansive in this far future.
And so they, Nathan starts to put together a team to go and retrieve this treasure trove of lost technology. There are other interested parties, including an agent of what's called the Jovian Everlife.
I love the Everlife.
They're essentially the big bad bullies of the setting. And they have dispatched a fleet of warships to find and secure this lost technology. And they would like to have a few words with Nathan and his new crew member.
I basically described this series as like, you know what? Jacob watched Firefly and said, you know what would make this perfect? Catgirls and sentient coffee plants, because there is a sentient coffee plant, and Beanie is my favorite. Beanie appears in 2 scenes and is my favorite thing about the whole novel. But
Beanie appears in more than 2 scenes.
Okay, like 3. Like Beanie has a small role.
1, 2,
3, 3.5.
4.
Okay.
5.
Okay, maybe I skimmed some. Who knows? Anyway, I love Beanie. Beanie's my boy. I don't actually know if Beanie is gendered because Beanie's a plant, but Beanie is
a plant. Beanie is a coffee plant. Is a sentient coffee plant.
I love me some Beanie though. I want a Beanie. Anyway, so just some things to know about freelancers though. If you're on my mailing list or my social media, you're gonna see me pushing freelancers hardbacks a lot. Sorry, not sorry. But a thing to know about traditional publishing is that ebooks are kind of eating print books lunch right now, and the result is that some series are beginning to get smaller print runs. It's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just a sign of the times. 90% of book sales, for us at least, are ebook. But that is to say, if you like your hardcovers, if you like your books that you can smell and cuddle with, it is a good idea to pre-order, because I know we're getting a small print run. I don't know how small, and I don't think Baen tends to do second hardcover printings.
Yeah, I think only 2,500 are being.
Yeah, I forget what the exact number is, but it's, if you want your hardcover, you better pre-order. So because otherwise it's ebooks, and I love me some ebooks, but you can't snuggle with an ebook the same way you can a hardcover. And so anyway, so yeah, we have just arranged a deal with one of our local bookshops, Fiction Addiction, where if you want to get a signed pre-order, they will mail you one once it releases. And I've got the link in the comments and also in the show notes if you want to pre-order a signed copy there. Otherwise, go to Amazon, go to Barnes & Noble, go to your favorite place, go to bookshop.org, because basically if you order from there and assign your order to your favorite local indie bookshop, they get credit for it. And that's pretty cool too. I do a lot of ordering through bookshop.org, even for Fiction Addiction. Let's see, what else? I thought I had some other news, but I completely forgot what it is. Oh, if you read Blood Knight 2 and want to go ahead and read Blood Knight 3, Blood Knight 3 comes out 3 months from now, but it is also currently posting on the Edie Skye Patreon. And I think I have a link in the show notes, but just go to Patreon and look up Edie Skye if it's not there. And so there's that. But now I guess we'll start wrapping up. So Jacob, what you been reading recently?
More Honorverse.
You've been reading Honorverse for years. It doesn't end.
Okay, so reading stuff from the Honorverse as a fan is different than reading the Honorverse as someone who has to write in it, and not just write like, a short story or a novella, but is has been asked to write multiple novels in the setting. It's very different, and it's a very, in my opinion, the Honorverse is the best constructed science fiction setting of all time.
High praise.
And there's a lot to absorb in order to internalize the setting and its characters to the degree that I then feel comfortable writing that much in the setting. So my onboarding to the Honorverse continues. That's what I've been reading. You want me to just say what I've been watching and playing, or?
Well, we'll go through that. As for what I'm reading, I have been I've gotten into Bridgerton on Netflix, as people who are following my commentary know, and so I finally just started reading the book. So I'm working on The Duke and I now, and taking all sorts of notes because it's making me want to write romance so bad, you guys. I've also I've stumbled into romantasy recently, like on the way to was it Liberty Con? I started listening to That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which is then followed by That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. And I hadn't really enjoyed romantasy books until I discovered that series and just figured out how just absolutely hilariously unhinged they can be. Because all the ones I'd read before were just the really dark, broody romantasy. And every time I encountered the leading men, I was like, guys, just stop being sad and go do the thing. Like, stop moping in your fairy castle. Go solve the problem. Like, these are solvable problems if you would just stop being in a little angst bucket. But there are no angst buckets in the demon book, and it's great. So I listened to that one, which is pretty great. I started listening to Wicked and the Wallflower, which is a really hot Regency romance. So yeah, I've just been listening to a whole bunch of smut recently. It's been great. What you been watching, Jacob?
Well, we've been watching. We watched season 3 of Konosuba.
I was underwhelmed by season.
I was also underwhelmed. I thought that seasons 1 and 2 were much better than season 3.
Like, season 3 was okay. And there were moments where you got that perfect comic timing from the first two, but I don't really know what went wrong because it was just kind of meh.
It just felt a little off. Like the writing wasn't quite as crisp as and the jokes weren't quite as they didn't have the same punch that they had in seasons 1 and 2. It just didn't land quite as well for me.
It was slightly more serious too. Like, not that Konosuba has ever been a serious series, but it was there were some slightly darker elements. And for a series, like, if I had been expecting that in a different series, I wouldn't have minded it. But Konosuba, I watched for like characters being idiots. And
I mean, it's that part didn't bother me, but it was just it's just something felt a little flat about its delivery. The other thing that we've been watching is Fallout.
Oh yes.
Which,
you're the one who knows Fallout things. I went into this series knowing zero things about Fallout except that a bobblehead was significant somewhere in the games. So that was my entire context. It's just one of those gaming series I haven't really followed closely. But Jacob has played it, so go for it, Jacob.
So there are a few things that I can nitpick about it, but I would say that overall let's say I think we've seen 5 of the 8 episodes of season 1, and I think season 2 got announced recently. Yes. But while I do have some nitpicks here and there, both from the portrayal of the Fallout setting and also from a storytelling perspective, I would say that overall, you can tell that the people behind it have a great deal of love and respect for the source material, and that feel comes across on the screen in the final product. I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
And that's one of the things that's made it work for me too. Like, even though I don't know anything about the franchise, I can tell how well crafted it is and how much love was actually put into it. And that's the main source of the entertainment for me. Quality aside, like, I can tell that it was crafted by people who enjoyed what they were doing. And have we been watching anything else? I can't remember. We watched Predator recently. I saw Predator for the first time, and for research for a short story.
Research.
Yes.
Yeah. For a short story that you're close to finishing.
I'm writing a freelancer short story that has elements similar to Predator that is basically turning into this far future homage to 80s action movies. And oh my gosh, it's so fun. I'm not done with it yet. I've got maybe 2 more scenes to do, but it's been really fun to play around in Jacob's universe, writing the story.
And then you're going to hand it over to me for final edit, and we'll be turning it into Bane books for a future anthology.
Yeah, and J.R. Handley says that Fallout was a love letter to the fans. It definitely feels like that. Which is really refreshing given some of the early headlines that came out about it right before it released. Like stuff, the whole, like, the director is like, I don't care what the fans think. Like, stuff like that is one of the reasons why I have stopped paying attention to all entertainment journalism. Like, I don't care anymore. If something catches my eye, I'm just going to watch it and not follow any of the news about it and determine my opinion on my own and not have to worry about any of the drama surrounding it. Let's see, what you been playing?
I have been playing quite a bit of Helldivers 2.
I think I was playing quite a bit of it before, and then I just started doing book marketing stuff and going outside with Dazzle. We're letting Dazzle outside now, and he's being chaos about it, as he does. He really likes it and keeps screaming at the door whenever he's not outside. But yes, so have we talked about Helldivers yet? I can't even remember.
No, we haven't talked about Helldivers yet.
We've had such a chaotic year that our schedules for everything are off. I can't even remember the last time we did one of these videos, but I am having a whole lot of fun on Helldivers when I do it. And the thing that appeals to me about Helldivers, I normally don't enjoy cooperative games all that much, and I normally don't enjoy shooter games because I'm really, really bad at aim. But the thing about Helldivers is that friendly fire and mistakes are kind of built into the DNA of the game and are part of the humor.
You just sort of expect when you call down an Eagle cluster bomb that at least one of your team is going to die from it.
Yeah. And I love the bombastic sense of humor. And the unique thing about it is that when I try to play it by myself, it's not nearly as fun. Like, it's just kind of, we're going to go shoot some robots. We're going to go pick up a sample. But then when it's very much a game that is made by the people that you play with. And so I'll play with Jacob and some of his friends a lot. And some author buddies and us have started to get together and play a little bit. But it's one of the few games that I actually specifically enjoy playing with other people a lot more than I do other games. Because most of the time, I view video games as my me time. And I generally don't want anyone else in on my video games. Like, No Man's Sky is one of my favorite games ever because it's so isolated. And I remember during COVID, when I was just getting so exasperated with everyone being an idiot, I would just go and play No Man's Sky and just fly to my own little uninhabited planet and just be enjoying myself because it would be nothing but me and my little mutant alien animals. And I remember I got so mad once because someone else flew through the sky on my planet. And I didn't really care that it was a procedurally generated thing. I was just like, why is someone else on the planet? And
this is such a weird thing to get upset about.
It's my me space. It was my little nasty desert planet, and I chose a crap planet specifically so no one else would come. And someone else came to my little trash can planet. I even named it No, and its moon is called Go Away. It was, yeah.
That part is true. I saw that she named it that.
And then my ship is called the Trash Can, and then I got a better ship and named it the Slightly Better Trash Can. I miss that game. I should actually. It's been a few years since I played that. But yeah, I do not play video games like a strategic gamer, you guys. I just go and mess up and have fun doing it. But yeah, so yeah, we've pretty much been playing Helldivers. Do you have any fun Helldivers stories other than the one where we got incinerated by fire tornadoes the very first time we played?
Well, yeah. I mean, so, introducing you and a friend of ours to Helldivers, and so we're lowest difficulty setting, and it's a very simple mission. You gotta raise this flag and to wait for it to go all the way up, and this flagpole is just taking forever. And so we're all just like watching this flagpole go up, and then this fire tornado just comes in, sweeps across the objective site.
It was like 5 different fire tornadoes that converged.
Oh yeah, it was just this whole fire tornado convention.
Yeah,
just congregating around us.
It's like the massive SC or not. It was like the San Diego Comic-Con of fire tornado conventions. It was enormous. But yeah, so Helldivers has been a whole lot of fun. I don't think I finished Final Fantasy 16. I get the numbers mixed up. The newest one. So first video game I finished in 5 years. So, which was kind of disappointing at the end, to be honest. Like the first half I loved, and the second half I just kind of played because Clive was hot, and I was like, by the time I started getting bored with the game, I was 2 chapters away from the end anyway. But it's really pretty. Like everyone in it's pretty, and I appreciate the hot people, and so I finished the game for the hot people. but yeah, I think.
Why do you think I bought Stellar Blade?
Yeah, exactly. Like this, the marketer in me really wants to know like how many people pre-ordered this game just for Eve's butt. Like there is a monetary value on that butt, and I want to know what it is. I like for real.
But I will say that the Stellar Blade's combat system is good.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun. It's not like really my style. I'm normally not a big one for like precise timing of like parry moves and stuff like that in combat systems. But yeah, I enjoyed the game.
Mm-hmm.
I also enjoyed looking at Eve.
The designers
and collecting all the costumes.
Yes, the costumes are great. Like it's almost like they were designed by actual fashion designers. I mean, most of them are absurd, but they're also really interesting to look at, and they're really cool. And but yeah, I don't think we've played any other games since the last time we had a show, did we? It's been primarily Helldivers.
Yeah. I mean, I've put in way too many hours into Helldivers.
I need to put more hours in because I don't think I've played in like a month. I've been too busy doing book junk. But every
time that we play, you're like doing marketing stuff or you're working writing.
I think Facebook ads are fun. They're my little hobby. Like I have different tiers of work. I have the work that I'm supposed to be doing, the work that I do to relax, the even more relaxing work, and then I have the actual stuff that's not work, that's just fun, but I forget to do it because I have so much fun doing the work. Like I don't think I haven't, like, aside from the family vacation we attempted to have a week ago, I haven't really had a day off just because I keep doing work because I like it. And
the reason why she said that the family vacation we attempted is that during the family vacation, I ended up in the emergency room.
Yeah, it doesn't count as a vacation if you're in the emergency room. No. But stay hydrated, you guys.
Because I got very dehydrated and I passed out.
Well, I was also doing book stuff too. So it wasn't just your fault that we weren't relaxing. But you need to hydrate, man. I'm holding you to it. We got Pedialyte and everything. I don't think we actually need the Pedialyte anymore and the Gatorade anymore because you're pretty hydrated now. But it's there. Anyway, drink your water. Especially
I have drained this entire glass of water.
Success
during this podcast.
There's not a sticker on my finger, so you just have to imagine it. Sticker. All right. Well, we are, I guess, just about done because we talked about the book. We talked about all the stuff we're doing. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Remember, again, we are giving away a signed copy of Blood Knight Book 2. So I've got the link everywhere, but in the show notes, in the comments, go fill out the form. We'll pick a random winner and sign it and send it to you once our stock is in. Go read the book. If you want to read book 3 early, go to Patreon and you can read it there. What else? Pre-order Freelancers of Neptune. It's a great book and it's my favorite and I love it. And I believe that's it. So thank you all for watching.
They can also pre-order Blood Knight 3.
Oh, yeah, you can pre-order Blood Knight 3, too. We got so many books. Oh, my gosh. By the end of this year, we're going to have 12 books out, you guys. I do not recommend doing this, but it's going to be...
A number of those are like short stories and anthologies.
Some are anthologies, but they're still work. They still got to write the short story and advertise the short story. Oh, that actually reminds me. I had an anthology come out since last one. So if you happen to like reading about cats and about noir, go check out Moggy Noir, which is released by Raconteur Press. I can put the link somewhere, but it's on Amazon. But anyway, I created a new set of characters, and the story that I wrote for that is actually a story that I wrote dedicated to Nova, in memory of Nova. So it's a sweet little story about a PI who moves into a new house and finds that he has the ghost of a cat that he's going to solve mysteries with. So it's a fun one. But anyway, we actually should probably just do a video about our anthologies sometime this year, because we've got a ton. But anyway, again, got anything you want to say, Jacob? Or
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time. So